Call this meeting to order. Item 2, disclosure area, pecuniary interest, and the general nature thereof. See none? Approval amendments of meeting agenda.
Worship,
Yes.
there will be an amendment in section 9, item for council information. And I'll ask you to address that as part of the transit committee.
Thank you very much. Okay. Be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the regular meeting dated October the 18th, 2022 as amended. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please? Angela and Matt? Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Approval of minutes. Be it resolved that council approve the following minutes as presented. Committee of the whole meeting, October the 12th, 2022. Also need a mover and a seconder. Pat and Gary. Any discussion on the minutes? Any comments? Go ahead, Angela.
Oh, no.
All in favor? Carried. There is no business arising from the minutes. Inquiries, member of the general public. None. Delegations and presentations, we have none. Business arising from delegations and presentations, also none. Item 9, item for council direction. I'm going to draw your attention to the letter dated October the 18th from the Temiskaming Transit Committee. I can read this if you like, and then we can have our comments on it and go from there, I guess. Temiskaming Transit, representing the city of Temiskaming Shores and the town of Cobalt, have been well served for many years by stock transportation. The current transit agreement is set to expire December the 31st, 2022. An extension to the current contract was not achievable, and notice of non-renewal was received in September. The Transit Committee over the spring and summer months have reviewed, deliberated at length, and ultimately resolved a draft request for proposal for transit services with an improved scope of services. The upcoming municipal election made it challenging to engage in negotiations with the legislative restrictions placed on the municipal councils with both the city of Temiskaming Shores and the town of Cobalt. Transit service is vital to our community, and the municipalities invite interested proponents to submit a proposal. It is the municipality's hope that all available transportation companies show interest in the request for proposal and supply options for a new transit agreement based on the requirements set out in the request for proposal. Currently, there is no expected interruption in service, and operation remains status quo. Pat, would you like to comment on some of that since you're on the transit committee also?
Yeah, the public should know that not only the transit committee, but the employees who are responsible for guiding us at Temiskaming Shores have worked and worked and worked. Stock transportation, the figures they gave us, the increases are so large. And there is absolutely no way that either of the towns could afford to pay that extra amount. We can't do that to the taxpayers. And we have tried to negotiate with them, and they are just very firm. My feeling, and a lot of feelings, are they just don't want to do it anymore.
We're not at a liberty right now to really make it quite the comment what their requests were, but they were exorbitant.
So they're working very hard on those RFPs and putting together all sorts of scenarios. And they've done that. Of course, we're in the transition with the election, and they did that during a transition of primary people that were working on all the transits, working for the transit committee too. So they were all brand new at it as well. So they've done a fantastic job, and we will get this solved.
Anybody else have any questions for the transit committee, comments? Go ahead, Doug.
Just to make a note that indeed, as the letter states, this transit service is vital to a whole lot of people, especially those in Cobalt. Students, handicapped, seniors, see just about everybody and anybody riding it from time to time. It's a lifeline for some, and I'm hoping we can do everything in our power to make sure it continues.
That will be up to the next council to make that decision, I believe. Fortunately, no, not fortunately, unfortunately. Anyways, the buses belong to the transit committee, so we're not stuck that way. We don't have to find buses. We own six buses. It's just a matter of now trying to find a supplier for the operational and the maintenance of the buses.
Maintenance, yeah.
So, hopefully it'll come to a good end. Go ahead.
How many potential transportation companies are there? Do we have any idea?
I can't tell you that, and it's not necessarily geared to only transportation companies. A trucking company who has a facility to house the buses and repair them can also get on it, as long as they can do that kind of work. It's open. It's going to be an open RFP, I believe. And we have some good buses, so
And we have some good bus drivers.
yes, we do, some very good bus drivers.
Then just be transferring to a new company.
Okay, sad news, but it's not for lack of trying. Transit committee worked diligently through the summer months on it. It just didn't go anywhere, unfortunately. Okay, item 10, bylaws, 10.1, bylaw 2022-17, asset management plan. Whereas the council of the town of Cobalt deems it desirable to have an asset management plan, and whereas a draft asset management plan was presented to council of the committee of the whole meeting October the 12th, 2022, and staff was directed to prepare the necessary bylaws. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the corporation of town of Cobalt hereby enact as follows. That bylaw number 2022-17 being a bylaw for an asset management plan for the town of Cobalt and Appendix A be adopted as presented. Be taken as read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 18th day of October 2022. And further that said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. A mover and a seconder, please. Pat and Angela, discussion? All in favor? Carried. 10.2, bylaw number 2022-21, amendment to property standards. Draft motion be, whereas the official plan for the town of Cobalt includes provisions relating to property conditions, now therefore be it resolved that the council of the corporation of town of Cobalt enacts as follows. That the sentence in form PSA-3, the violations are set out in Schedule A attached hereunto and form part of this order and shall be replaced with Schedule A attached hereunto, set out the work required to remedy such violations and to bring the property into compliance with the bylaw. Be taken a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 18th day of October 2022. And further that said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. Is there any discussion on the bylaw? Mover and seconder, please. Matt and Pat. Discussion? No. All in favor? Carried. 10.3, bylaw number 2022, amendment to users fees. Whereas the Municipal Act SO 2001 C25 section 395 allows municipalities to set users fees, bylaws to recover costs for providing certain services or facilities. And whereas the municipality deems it expedient to pass a bylaw to adopt rates for users of its facilities and services. Now, therefore, be it resolved that council of the corporation of the town of Cobalt enact as follows. 1, amending Schedule A, environmental services to include Appendix A to Schedule A defining business classes for commercial rate 1 and 2 and institutional. Item 2, amending Schedule C, administration rates with the following rate updates. 1, duplicate copies for property tax billings, $10. Item 2, property tax statements, accounts, $10. Item 3, that said bylaw will come into force and effect the day of its final passing. Be taken as read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 18th day of October 2022. And further, that said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor. A mover and a seconder. Gary and Pat. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. 10.4, bylaw number 2022-25, procedural bylaw. Whereas subsection 238 dash 2 of the Municipal Act 20,001 requires every council and local board to adapt a procedural bylaw for governing the calling, the place, and proceeding of meetings. And whereas subsection 11-2 of the Municipal Act 2001 provides upper and lower tier municipalities may pass bylaws respecting accountability and transparency, municipality and its operations of its local boards and their operation. And whereas it is the council's desire to follow the process of municipal governance that reflects an open, transparent government. And whereas council, in the interest of good governance, recognizes a procedural bylaw as a hallmark of accountability and transparency, now therefore be it resolved that council adopts bylaw 2022-25 being a bylaw to govern the proceedings of council and committee meetings in the town of Cobalt. And further, that procedural bylaw number 2018-36 as amended be repealed. Taken as read a first, a second, and third time and finally passed this 18th day of October 2022. And further, that said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. A mover and a seconder. And Angela, discussion. Go ahead.
Firstly, I'd like to note my disappointment that a lot of the things I talked about in our last meeting didn't happen. One thing did emerge from this, and it states in the minutes that the following sections were omitted: Schedule A 1.2.5 and 1.2.6, which were the items suggesting that correspondence without all of the information requested in this under 1.2.1 would be filed. So that's been omitted. Omitted is not like deleted. So I would like to ask Mr. Daly, what will be done with correspondence that does not meet all the requirements of 1.2.1?
One, as last meeting, I asked council for direction of what to be omitted. And those were the two sections that were correct.
Yes, but what is your view of how mail that does not include all of the information in 1.2.1 going to be handled? We've omitted, which doesn't mean deleted, so perhaps that's just obscured. But, it's not deleted either. It doesn't mean it's on the way and it won't be done. So what is going to be done, I guess is my question.
As you're continuing, you must put the following information about 1.2.1, is what I assume that you're discussing.
That's what I'm citing, yep.
Okay, about the author's name, the complete mailing address, home, cell, business phone number, or an email address. It's requesting, as in most information that is requested during these times, an email or a cell phone is usually the best way for communication. Mail is also there, but unless the person fails to give that kind of information, it'd be almost as a registered letter. We have to ensure that the person gets this information. Because on an email, you can put a read receipt, phone numbers. You could also trace to see if you made that call.
Yeah, you made the comment last meeting too, that you needed to send a response out by registered mail. It was a mailing address only. And that baffles me because nowhere else in Canada, from the federal government, the Ontario government will send me my driver's license, my OLIP card, my bank will send me my visa, all to my mailing address. It's accepted commonly and widely. So why would the town of Cobalt make an exception?
Just be for all up to citizens of Cobalt in this direction.
Would it be fair to say that every attempt will be made to reach people?
And then could I ask, why didn't that replace will be filed only?
kind of just went by what
Directions
directed
were.
by council.
Yep.
Okay, can I
Okay.
then ask for a recorded vote, George?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Okay. Recorded vote on number 2030. Okay, 238-2. Councillor Adsett?
For.
Councillor Anderson?
For.
Councillor Dubé is present. Councillor Hughes? Four. Councillor Johnson? Four. Councillor Wilcox?
Opposed.
Mayor Ruffner? Four. The yeas have it. 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. General business, 11.1, schedule of accounts. Be resolved that council receive the following schedules as presented. Schedule number 2022-18 in the amount of $174,161.91. And schedule number 2022-19 in the amount of $190,395.48. Mover and a seconder, please. Matt and Angela. Is there any discussion on the schedule of accounts? Questions? All in favor? Carried. Motion for which prior notice has been given. Mayor's report. Okay, our next meeting at a committee hold is November the 1st, supposed to be scheduled for November the 1st, I believe. I really don't understand why we would be meeting for committee to whole meeting, since we don't have anything that we can do or get passed. So my feeling is very obvious. What do the rest of you think? Cancel?
Yeah, barring some unforeseen circumstance that might necessitate a special meeting, I certainly don't see any point in that.
Okay. The rest of you feel the same way about it? Okay, then we will cancel the last meeting, November 1st. And this being my last session in the big chair, I just want to thank you all for the last 4 years of your lives that you have spent here, working diligently for the residents of the town of Cobalt. And I want to thank the staff, work department, everyone else that helped out. We had a very, very tough 4 years, unprecedented times, but we've accomplished quite a bit. And I'm not afraid of walking around this town to say so. We've accomplished a lot in the little time that we had. We had a very rough go with management through the years. Other than that, we managed to put in a brand new shop at $800,000. We bought the municipality a loader. We bought a new truck. We got a solid contract with Aqua for 10 years to make sure that they provide us with good, clean drinking water. That's a great step in the right direction. And we've got a very good looking park down there, plus a whole lot of other things that we've done that I can't really think of at the time. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your hard work, all of you, staff, council, and works department, and everyone else in the town of Cobalt. Councillor updates, do we have any? Councillor questions and answers? None? No closed session, no business arising closed session. Just before we get to adjournment, those of you who are carrying on, moving forward in your political careers, I wish you the best of luck. See you here, I'll be sitting over there, no? And good luck to all. Be it resolved that the regular meeting of council be adjourned at Mover, Doug, Matt, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you to the members of the audience.